The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. Proverbs 15:3. Imagine this. You're minding your own business, walking your path, driven by purpose, focused, and somehow, out of nowhere, people start tripping over themselves to make you the villain in their own story. They hurt you, betray you, and then flip the script, claiming you're the one who's done them wrong. Sound familiar? Here's the cold, brutal truth. Chosen ones often walk through life carrying a unique energy that disrupts others, sparking insecurities and rattling hidden fears. And instead of owning their feelings, some will cast you as the enemy, convincing everyone else that they're the victim. It's almost laughable, right? Here you are, just trying to live your purpose, and suddenly you're the plot twist in someone else's drama. But don't worry. While they're busy rewriting reality to make you look like the villain, someone else is watching. And let's be real, the big guy upstairs, he sees everything. Those who've hurt you may think they're getting away with it, but the clock is ticking. And God's got a front row seat. At number 1, chosen ones are mirrors for others' insecurities. When chosen ones walk into a room, they often bring an unspoken intensity that disrupts the atmosphere. They don't have to say or do anything out of the ordinary, just their presence alone stirs up something uncomfortable in others. This isn't because they're trying to intimidate or prove a point. It's simply that they operate on a different level of authenticity. They know who they are and refuse to settle for anything less. For many people, this quiet confidence creates an internal mirror, forcing them to confront insecurities or flaws they'd rather ignore. Those who haven't worked on themselves feel exposed in the presence of someone like this. It's as if the chosen one's very existence reminds them of the potential they've neglected, the dreams they've abandoned, or the ways they've compromised their own values. Rather than facing these uncomfortable truths, people often react with resentment. It's easier to criticize, label, or even ostracize someone than to look in the mirror and admit, maybe the problem is me. So they twist things, creating a narrative where the chosen one becomes the problem. They'll say things like, they think they're better than everyone, or they're so full of themselves, projecting their own insecurities onto the chosen one to make themselves feel better. It's a defense mechanism, a way to avoid facing their own shadows by painting the chosen one as arrogant, distant, or self-centered. But the irony is, chosen ones rarely see themselves as better than others. They simply don't pretend to be something they're not. Their honesty makes others uncomfortable, not because it's offensive, but because it's real. And in a world where authenticity is rare, those who embody it become both a threat and a mirror to those who live in denial. Number 2, victim blaming becomes a tool to maintain control. One of the cruelest tricks people play on chosen ones is hurting them and then turning around to claim they're the ones who've been wronged. This isn't an accident, it's a calculated move to control the story. They know that playing the victim earns them sympathy, a shield that keeps others from seeing the truth. By pretending to be the ones who've suffered, they're able to mask their own actions, leaving the chosen one looking like the villain in everyone else's eyes. This tactic is particularly painful because it takes advantage of one of the chosen one's biggest strengths, their compassion. Chosen ones often avoid conflicts, preferring peace over drama. They don't go out of their way to defend themselves because they're not interested in playing petty games. They're wired to focus on higher goals, spiritual growth, and self-mastery, which means they rarely get down in the mud to prove someone wrong. Unfortunately, this restraint makes it easy for others to twist situations and make the chosen one appear guilty by default. What's worse, the people using this tactic know exactly what they're doing. They understand that most people only see what's on the surface. They're counting on the fact that people won't look any deeper, won't question why the story doesn't quite add up. And because the chosen one stays silent, the false narrative grows, with others jumping on the bandwagon. In the end, it's a classic case of psychological manipulation. The chosen one's unwillingness to defend themselves becomes their supposed guilt, while the real offender gets to hide behind a wall of sympathy and fake victimhood. It's a twisted, unfair game, but the chosen one knows the truth. And so does a higher power watching from above, keeping track of every silent wound. Number 3, they can sense the lies behind smiling faces. Chosen ones tend to have a kind of sixth sense that picks up on things other people miss. They don't just see people's words or actions, they pick up on the energy behind them. This heightened intuition allows them to sense lies, manipulation, and hidden agendas, even when everything on the surface seems perfectly fine. They can feel when something is off, even if no one else notices it. And while this gift sounds empowering, it often becomes a burden because the chosen ones can see through facades that most people take at face value. Imagine how unsettling it must be for others when they realize that someone sees right through their act. They know that the chosen one can sense their intentions, even when they're wrapped in a smile or polite words. This ability to see through people creates tension, especially when chosen ones try to maintain relationships or interact in groups. They often find themselves surrounded by people who pretend to be supportive but secretly harbor envy or ill will. And while the chosen ones might not call them out directly, their awareness creates an invisible boundary. People who feel exposed in this way become defensive, sometimes even resentful, because the chosen one represents something they can't control or manipulate. For chosen ones, it's a lonely road. Knowing the truth about people's intentions can be isolating, especially when others refuse to admit or confront their own hidden motives. Yet, even in this isolation, the chosen ones understand that their gift of perception is also their armor. It protects them from blindly trusting those who don't truly have their best interests at heart. Number 4, their silence is their greatest defense. When chosen ones are hurt, their instinct isn't to retaliate or argue. They withdraw, letting their silence speak for itself. This silence can easily be misinterpreted by others, especially those who equate loudness with strength. Many assume that if someone doesn't defend themselves, they must be guilty, afraid, or simply incapable of standing up. But for chosen ones, silence isn't a retreat. It's a deliberate choice and an extraordinary show of strength. Their silence deprives manipulators of fuel, leaving them without the satisfaction of a reaction to manipulate, distort, or spread. Number 5, they attract tests to prepare them for a higher path. Chosen ones often seem to face an unusual number of challenges and betrayals. But these difficulties aren't random. They're almost like training exercises on their path to something greater. Each hardship, each person who wrongs them, serves as a kind of test. While it may feel personal, these experiences are less about the pain inflicted and more about how chosen ones respond and grow through them. They're being refined, not broken by these trials, as if they're being prepared for a higher purpose that demands extraordinary resilience, strength, and understanding. The people who hurt chosen ones unwittingly play a role in their spiritual evolution. These victims, or perpetrators, often expose weaknesses, test patience, or challenge chosen ones' beliefs, forcing them to dig deep and stay true to their principles even in the most testing circumstances. Through these struggles, chosen ones develop empathy and insight that no book or advice could ever teach. Number 6, God's timing means their vindication will be public. For chosen ones, navigating a world that frequently misinterprets or mistreats them can feel isolating and unfair. Right. God's timing is deliberate, and when the time for vindication arrives, it is undeniable and public. This isn't about revenge or proving superiority. It's about a quiet but powerful unveiling of the truth. For the chosen ones, this is the ultimate validation, one that requires no words, just quiet, unshakable trust. Number 7, false accusers are haunted by their own guilt. When people wrong chosen ones and then twist the story to make themselves appear as the victims, they may think they've won, but in reality, they're left with a burden they can't shake: guilt. While chosen ones often find a way to forgive, move on, and release bitterness, the accusers are stuck wrestling with the weight of their own actions. This guilt isn't just a passing regret, it's a deep, nagging awareness that they've crossed a moral line they can't uncross. This feeling doesn't fade because it's more than just shame. It's a spiritual consequence, a reminder from within that they acted dishonestly. Even if they manage to fool others, they know the truth. Their mind replays the lies they told and the harm they caused, and each reminder of their own dishonesty pulls them deeper into regret. For these accusers, there's no real escape from this spiritual reckoning. While the chosen ones may have walked away, leaving the past behind, the accusers are left to confront the consequences of their own actions. They come to realize that the real damage wasn't done to the chosen ones, who have found peace, but to themselves, as they're haunted by the knowledge that they built their lives, their reputations, and their stories on lies. Chosen ones have a unique ability to step back from the noise and emotions of a situation, giving them a clearer view of what's really happening. While many people get caught up in the immediate drama, reacting without a second thought, chosen ones look deeper. They see recurring patterns, unspoken motivations, and connections that others miss entirely. This insight lets them recognize when people are stuck in cycles of harmful behavior, even when those people don't see it themselves. Because they observe with a level of detachment, chosen ones can identify these patterns without becoming part of the chaos. This ability to spot patterns often makes others uncomfortable, especially those who don't want to confront their own habits or shortcomings. People who prefer a simplified black and white view of life may feel unsettled by someone who can see past their masks. For chosen ones, this insight is both a gift and a burden. They see truths that others ignore, which can isolate them, but also empower them. Chosen ones are often misunderstood because they don't seek or need external validation. They carry within them an unwavering sense of purpose and direction that doesn't rely on applause, approval, or recognition from others. This deep-rooted confidence in their own path can make those around them feel insecure or overlooked. When people are used to seeking validation from external sources, whether it's through praise, approval, or attention, someone who doesn't play into that system can seem distant, even dismissive. But for chosen ones, it's not about rejecting others. It's about understanding that true fulfillment comes from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. Their independence can often be misinterpreted as arrogance or coldness. People who expect constant reassurance may feel snubbed by the chosen one's lack of need for affirmation. While others may feel rejected, the chosen ones are simply walking with clarity, knowing that true validation comes from the alignment of the soul, not from the approval of those who don't understand their journey. Chosen ones don't need to try to change others. Their very being does that work, whether or not the people around them recognize it. People who lash out at chosen ones often don't realize that the pain they try to inflict is a reflection of their own unresolved issues. When they attempt to project negativity onto the chosen ones, they're often confronted with their own inner darkness, whether it's jealousy, insecurities, or unhealed traumas. The chosen one becomes the mirror that reflects back these hidden truths, and this can trigger deep, uncomfortable introspection. Chosen ones understand that divine protection isn't about a constant, immediate shield from harm. It's a much more strategic and purposeful form of safeguarding. While others may expect divine protection to immediately prevent pain or suffering, the chosen ones know that these challenges, though painful, are often part of a larger plan. They trust that even in their toughest moments, there is a divine strategy unfolding, one that's designed to shape them, not break them. This understanding allows them to view suffering not as a random, senseless event, but as something with a deeper purpose. For them, each hardship, each trial, is a stepping stone meant to build resilience, deepen humility, and foster wisdom. God's protection isn't passive, it's strategic, ensuring that they fulfill their destiny while being shaped into the person they are called to be. It's a protection that doesn't keep them from pain, but ensures they never break under it. In the end, they are being prepared for a higher purpose, and nothing, not even suffering, can stop them from fulfilling it. Number 12. True power lies in not needing to settle the score. Chosen ones know that true power lies in not feeling the need to settle the score or seek revenge when wronged. In a world where many are driven by the need for justice or retaliation, they understand that real strength comes from releasing that desire and trusting that a higher power sees and understands everything. When someone hurts them, they don't feel compelled to fight back or expose the wrongdoers. Instead, they remain confident that the divine will take care of the imbalance in its own time and way, far beyond anything they could do themselves. In the end, the journey of the chosen ones is not about vengeance or proving themselves to others. It's about a profound trust in a higher purpose, a divine unfolding that shapes their path even through hardship. They are misunderstood, tested, and hurt. But each experience serves to strengthen their resolve, build their resilience, and refine their spirit. They don't seek validation because they know that true power comes from within, from their connection to something greater than the transient judgments of the world. In the grand scheme, the chosen ones are not concerned with the short-term drama or the pain caused by others. Their eyes are set on a much larger purpose, a destiny that cannot be thwarted. And in that unwavering focus, they remain untouchable, untouched by the petty games of the world.